game of Hunter the Vigil. This one going to be the second edition. This is a game set in Chronicles of Darkness, a game line that's been going on for quite a bit. I'm a bit of a nut about it myself, and I have some lovely people here who have varying degrees of experience with the setting and the system, and I'm looking forward to playing with them. My name is Conry. I'll be the storyteller for our game for the next upcoming bit. Tonight's our session 0. And first, I want to say thank you to Onyx Path for making second edition happen. I'm normally not on this channel. I don't have... Does that mean technically I'd like to thank the channel. I'm a huge fan of this game, and I look forward to getting the firm hard copy in my hands so that I can leaf through that and enjoy all the new goodness that's being added. Kickstarter is starting, I believe, tomorrow, if I remember correctly, and I looked at the proper dates. I will double check that and make sure that is correct very shortly. But it's coming soon if it ain't tomorrow. But before we get even into getting our session 0 on and figuring out how we're going to play this game, I want to go around the horn and let everybody who's here to play have a moment to say who they are, where you can find them, and what they're working on coming up in the near future. So let's see. We'll TK, you take it off. You take it first.
Cool. It's like there was like some kind of absurd thing where you were like, bet TK's checking their phone right now. And I was. It's me. It's TK. I write horror and I put it on the internet. And you can find it if you like horror or the internet at tkjreds.com. Or you can follow me on Twitter. TK joins the fray. Not doing a lot. Hanging out, streaming, always on the Dungeons & Dragons Twitch channel. You can find me there. I live there and I work there. So nice. Okay, I'm done. Goodbye.
Good stuff. Fox, I'm going around my screen here. I don't have the actual broadcast up right now. I'm trying to focus. So, Fox, you're up next.
I can talk now? Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, folks, I'm Fox Barrett at Fox_Barrett on Twitter. That's where you can find most of what I get up to. A large part of my time is spent streaming over on twitch.tv/WelcomePartyRPG. That's the Welcome to the Party Twitch channel, where I'm on a handful of games. I'm in the Rifts game. I'm in their Worldwide Wrestling game. I'm just an internet weirdo over there. So come follow me on Twitter, and I'll yell at you about what I'm up to.
Well, thank you very much, Fox. Jackie.
Hi everybody, I'm Jackie, and you can find me on Twitter at DeathByMage, and I mostly write D&D and other RPG content. And right now we're working on releasing a all Asian inspired D&D adventure anthology called Unbreakable, and it'll be coming out later in February and March.
I'm actually I'm going to talk to you about looking at that, because that's a very underrepresented thing in 5e right now, and I want to see more.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. I'm the project organizer, so I see everything. It's gonna be good.
Very nice. And Jeremy.
I'm Jeremy. I technically exist on the internet, but I like to hide in the deepest, darkest recesses where no one can find me. I do ever pop up on the Onyx Path channel from time to time, like now.
Very cool. Very cool. I'm glad to have each and every one of you with me, because we're going to have some fun. I love this. Volume down. Sorry. Turned on my phone to catch up with chats and stuff. And now I'm just sounding like Peter Boyle. All right. That's a reference if anybody gets it. So let me kind of set the stage here. Chronicles of Darkness is a dark setting, a grimy mirror of our world, but a little worse, if you can imagine it. There's monsters, there's vampires, there's werewolves, there's mages, there's a litany of things that stalk, hunt, exploit mortals like you and I. That's the normal game. That's the core game. That's the Chronicles of Darkness, where everything is set. Hunter is a game that takes that focus and brings it nice and tight into those mortals who want to take back the night. They want to stop the monsters. They want to stop the vampires from drinking, stop the werewolves from hunting, stop the mages from exploiting, keep people safe. And I personally believe it does it fantastically. I've been playing this game for a long time. Where am I going? Starting to ramble. Okay. Hunter takes 3 tiers of possibilities. It approaches the idea of hunters in what their resources are, what their purpose is, and how they go about it. Tier 1 are your local heroes, your group of people that have come together, formed a cell of hunters to take down one thing. To use some examples from pop culture and modern media, we're talking about Stranger Things, a group of kids who don't 100% know what's going on, but they know it has to stop because people are getting hurt. They come together, they stop the threat, and then they're done. Tier 2 are regional hunters that protect an area. We're talking about hunters that travel. You could look at maybe the Winchesters and their network of informants and safe houses, depending on the season, obviously, of Supernatural. Their ability to coordinate with each other is their highlight. They usually protect an area and the people in that area the size of a small European country, maybe a large European country, a state, absolutely. Possibly most of the United States, continental United States, could be protected by a single tier 2 organization. Tier 3 are your global conspiracies. We're talking about the Army of the Vatican, the black budget supernatural X-Files well, no, definitely more funded than X-Files. I've watched X-Files. They got nothing. Men in Black, the idea of these shadowy figures that protect us all from the shadows with massive global support, or at least enough support to put them on the global stage. Our show, Hometown Heroes, is going to be a tier 2 game. We are going to be working with a small group of hunters, 4 of them, as I have above me here. Yes, haha. They are. I'm looking at the stream now, so I can actually judge that. So, 4 hunters who will be pulled from different organizations, small regional groups that help each other out. Some are returning from first edition. Some are brand new. Some I'm not allowed to talk about because this is all in development and fun stuff. So with session zeros, we need to cover a couple of things before we even get to the point where we are doing character. We need to go over safety precautions. They are first and foremost at any table I do, and they are wonderfully covered in the wide array of Onyx Path books. There is usually a section on responsible role play. It is something that every gaming group should do. Even if you are getting together at a small table at a convention, you should take 5 minutes to go over how are we going to be responsible with each other while we play. So, the 2 techniques I like to use, semi-inspired by the kink community, funny enough, hard nose, soft nose, and we'll be adding in the X card. So hard nose and soft nose, these are your limits for things. Hard limit is things that you do not want to see come up in this game. Something that you know what? It doesn't matter why. If you do not want to experience that in your game at all, you can say it's a hard limit, and then everybody at the table agrees to respect that. Soft limits are things that you're uncomfortable with, but you can handle, but to be responsible, and respectable about those topics. Don't push it too far, and maybe check in after scenes that get a little heavy into that topic. And the X card is something that we're going to be using throughout play. The X card is in this situation, I have a chat with the players. They can send an X to me at any time while we are in a scene. If that scene has gone too far for them and they need to step out, and once that X is put into that chat, the scene will fade out, and we will move on to the next scene. Might have to come up with some quick adjustments as to what resolved out of that scene as quickly as possible, just to get the game moving again. But we're not continuing that scene. We're moving on to the next scene, and doesn't need discussion. It's just accepted. If there's desire to speak about it afterwards to avoid that topic again, readdress if it's a hard limit or a soft limit, that's to be done after the game is over. This is to help us keep playing and always having fun at the table. So as the storyteller, I like to go first on this because, one, it gives you a little bit of an idea of what kind of a game I'm looking forward to run, and the players also can understand what kind of topics I definitely won't be touching as a storyteller throughout the game. My hard limits, I do not do sexual violence. I do not do sexual content on stream. If you wish to approach sexual content of any kind, the scene will fade out. Think of it like an old black and white movie where they imply a lot. There's a hug, there's a kiss maybe, and then it's fade to black. And then the next morning, that's the way I approach that kind of subject matter in my games. Soft limits, I really don't have much more than that. I enjoy being uncomfortable when I'm playing a game. To me, it's part of the thrill. It's like watching a horror movie. You watch it to be scared. Sometimes scared can be good. But I'm open to everybody else's hard and soft limits, obviously. So we'll go around. We'll go in the same order we did. So TK, if you would like to please inform me and everybody else of your hard limits of what you don't want to see in this game, and soft limits of what you would prefer to stay away from.
I obviously have a no sexual violence, but my other hard limit is no killing kids on screen. Like if we happen to find a kid's dead body or something, whatever, but I don't like killing kids for fun. So yeah.
Understandable. So would you say violence towards children is a soft limit? Be smart about it.
Yeah, I'd say that's a soft limit. Like,
okay,
if we just find one, or if kids are in danger or something, that's like one thing. But like, I don't want to watch a monster kill a kid, you know?
Noted. And I will actually, I have a list that I took out paper to write shit down too. So I'm going to go ahead and add that to the list. Next, Fox.
Yeah, you pretty much hit mine so far. No sexual violence. The only other hard limit I have is one that I suspect we probably aren't going to be interested in anyway. Stay away from slurs. I'm not looking to be called anything. I'm already called enough in the real world. Thank you. So stay away from that. As far as soft limits go, I mean, we're playing a horror game, so it's like overly graphic depictions of torture. It's okay if monsters are gonna monster, but like if we're just gonna like sit in it forever and get into grotesque detail for an extended period of time, it's like okay, let's wrap it up a little bit here.
We're going for we're going for tasteful, not hostile or Serbian film.
Yeah. Yes.
Ugh, Serbian
exactly.
film.
Yeah. Looking more for like Babadook, less for Saw, if you can.
Yeah.
I feel like we should just, the Serbian film is just the example of what not to do.
Worst.
This is not an endorsement. Don't go watch that film.
No.
Do not watch that film.
You better
If you
watch
do, don't pay
Caligula.
money. Wait. Can I say that? Can I tell people not to pay money on this stream? Can I say illegally download?
Let's err on the side of caution and just say let's not watch the film.
Yeah,
Onyx
just don't
Path
watch
does not
it.
endorse the views.
Don't.
Yeah, don't watch it.
Jackie, wait, actually, before we move on, Fox, that's everything you wanted to cover?
Yeah, and no chickens. Weirdly enough, no, we're good. We're good.
I had a player who hard requested no geese once. So
Oh shit.
I hate geese. Geese are the worst.
Which is why they're only good when eaten.
I hate them.
So yeah, all yours,
Man,
Jackie.
I'm so hungry.
Right. Sorry.
Jackie, you're up.
Pretty much everyone has already hit the really big the big ones, sexual assault and violence and children. So for me, I think the only thing, and slurs, I think the only thing I would add is just a soft no on handling human trafficking. That's the only thing I actually have sometimes an issue with. That's about it.
Okay. I can get behind that. And so that's all of them.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. Jeremy, do you have anything you want to add to the list?
I mean, the big hard wisdom covered the no sexual content, no sexual violence. For soft nose, I don't mind like mental illness showing up in various forms of media, but just don't overplay it as silly or easy. That's really what bothers me the most.
Absolutely. I
Sorry.
100% agree with that.
I actually missed that. Can you say that one more time? Sorry.
Just be careful with mental illness. Like, I don't.
Mental illness. That's what I missed. Thank you. Sorry about that.
Like disability in general, I'll actually add onto my soft nose. It's like,
That's
just
fair.
like, let's think about it. Let's think about it.
Always strive to be respectful, and if you think somebody else is handling something that isn't in a non-respectful way, drop the X card. We will address it after sessions end. That's cool with everybody here?
Yep.
TK, you have something? Or
I was actually wondering if we could add like an enthusiastic consent mechanic, like O card. Yeah, like an O card. Like maybe I look uncomfortable, but I'm really into it, and it's fine. You know?
Oh, I know that as the OK check.
Yeah.
This is a LARP technique, and I think we can incorporate that here.
Yeah.
Basically, if somebody is looking like they are in distress, and you are concerned if that is real distress, and they're trying to push through unhealthily, you can either in chat, or the way I know it from LARPing is a subtle hand gesture, like the OK hand gesture, thumbs up, or even like just some kind of like eye contact and acknowledgement that they see you're asking. And then it's thumbs up means a quick thumbs up means I'm in, keep going, this is cool, I'm in role play mode. Thumbs down means I absolutely need to not be part of this right now. That functions same as the X card.
Okay.
And unsure is going to be treated as a no.
Okay.
So also, like I said, at any point in chat, if you think somebody's distressed, just put who you think is distressed, hit OK ? And then we'll give the appropriate level of OK.
Cool. Thank you. Appreciate that.
That is a very good technique that a lot of tables should take into regard. That way it doesn't, so you can still go for those dramatic, deep, serious scenes without breaking the flow to be like, are you sure you're okay?
Yeah.
Which 100% is good. All right. So we've got our hard limits. We got our soft limits. We've got the X card. We are using OK check. That's all our safeties. Now we can get into the danger. So as I said before, hunters are broken into these 3 tiers. You will be investigating. You will be a small group that is coming together via connections, because these regional groups do share communications, some more than others. There's specifically the most open is a compact called the Union, which is comprised of middle-class, blue-collar hunters who are dealing with things that threaten their community. They're the most open to receiving help from whoever is willing to offer it, because if it helps protect their community, they want to be there for it. The most unlikely to accept help although they do occasionally, is a group called the Long Night, they were born from evangelicals, evangelical Christians, and they seek to hold back the end of days and the tribulation war. And they can be a little prickly. They're very particular about who they let into their organization. But even then, at times, they will even accept help. So you four will be playing from those. I will be pitching some ideas for how this can go to best form a singular purpose cell, because this game focuses on cooperation. Inter-party conflict is not something I shy away from. I love a healthy debate. I'm not a fan of I steal all the gold and stab everybody, literally with a knife in the back. As this game is communication and helping each other out, and we want to show off as much of this hunter awesomeness as possible, this game is going to be focused on some good old cooperation with some conflicting views, maybe, about how to handle things, which I'm all about. So let me set the actual stage for where you'll be creating your hunters. Our story is taking place in Irvington, New York. This is a small, sleepy town just west of White Plains, upstate New York. Irvington is named after an author, Washington Irving, who wrote a very specific story about a very specific place. That place is Sleepy Hollow and the legend of the Headless Horseman. That's because this place actually was Sleepy Hollow before it was renamed Irvington. This is not the Chronicles of Darkness explanation. This is the actual truth. Where we get into the Chronicles of Darkness end of things is that there have been missing persons and murders leading up to what is probably considered the most important time of year for the small town of Irvington, and that is Halloween. Halloween's coming up, and hay rides and harvest festivals and corn mazes are going to be erected in local small public parks on the Hudson. And also, it's Sleepy Hollow. Everybody loves that old story, and they want as many people showing up to experience the Headless Horseman hayride that goes through town every year. Your hunters are for their own reasons and from their own organizations arriving in town to investigate these missing persons and a rise in murders in this town, because they're coupled with some odd stories about how they came about. We'll get into what information you have, how you got that information, and what brought you all together after we look at what you're interested in. So, has everybody had a chance to look over some of the, if you don't have the second edition materials, a lot of the first edition materials are still very helpful here. Also, ask any questions about the different compacts. So this is tier 2.
Tier 2, okay.
So to give a quick rundown of the list of tier 2 compacts, let's see here. I have the document open. Here we go. Tier 2 compacts. There's the Long Night, or Christian hunters that believe the surge in monster activity is a sign of the end of the world, and they now fight in the Tribulation War. There's the Loyalist of Thule, an occultist organization of Germanic descent, descended from the Thule Society, who believe they are in a debt to humanity for what they unwittingly took part in at the beginning of the 20th century. There is Network Zero, who are a savvy group of hunters who use technology, photography, and film to warn people about the truth of monsters, and they just love using the internet for that. So I like to think of them as the Redditors of the supernatural. There is Null Mysterious, who are your scientists who research the paranormal and selectively share their findings with others to help combat the supernatural think of Egon would be null mysterious. It's not that it's supernatural. It's just misunderstood, or not misunderstood, just not understood yet. There is Sworn, which is an indigenous indigenous hunters who live in urban areas that defend their local communities from predators and supernatural monsters, that they have a heritage of fighting in their past. And then there's the Union, who I mentioned before, who are blue-collar hunters who come together to fight supernatural things from infringing upon their home turf. If anybody wants to volunteer themselves to ask a couple of questions about any of these, please ask them now. Otherwise, I'm going to start grilling each of you. Volunteer yourself before I volunteer you for you.
Well, I can say that I'm really looking forward to my. I think I still like my idea for my character, so I'm really going for it.
Okay, Jackie, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking probably a Network Zero kind of character, probably like a ghost hunter. So, or he at least portrays himself as a ghost hunter, kind of in that vein, looking for obviously the paranormal and anything supernatural as an excuse as his cover, and obviously trying to document and record all the information that he finds.
Mm-hmm.
So okay. I can see that, especially for the, especially Sleepy Hollow, how iconic it of a location it is, and the story behind it. That's already a very easy natural draw.
Sifting through which photo of the headless horseman is a photo of an actual headless horseman versus some guy in a costume.
Yep, that sort of thing.
I like it.
Following the trail.
Which one of these came out of a spooky images thread on something awful?
Oh yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. Network Zero is basically the organization that runs the containment protocols website.
Oh, SCP.
The SCP website. Yeah. They basically run that, but it's real.
Yeah.
No, but for real, you guys, come on.
Seriously, you've seen this GIF. I mean, I know it's like a little fuzzy, and you really only see the eyes.
You can see it; it just goes, then it's gone. Like what?
That is perfect Network Zero. And there's also some subgroups to these. They have kind of factions within them. They're large enough that they have factions. So if you want to kind of narrow it down even further, we can go over those. But I want everybody's general idea for what compact they're looking at. I do have a pitch, though, if anybody's having trouble. The Union is probably the easiest to attach yourself to. You're basically a local who has dealt with the paranormal before and wants to make sure that no one else has to deal with what they dealt with, or at least stops other people from being hurt. So if you're having any curiosities about, I don't know, the Union is the easiest to go. And also they slot into pretty much every story super well. So does anybody else have any ideas what they want to work on?
I'm thinking no mysterious.
Ooh, science. Okay. You and the Redditor are going to get along.
Yeah. In there was a first edition book, I don't remember which one, which basically postulated that there was sort of this conspiracy among coroners and morticians about they kind of have to be in the know just by like statistics. It's very hard to be in that profession without noticing some of the weird things. And this is a guy who's like, you know what, I'm going to do the report of what I think what happened and catalog this and keep that separate from the official report so people don't think I'm crazy. And I'm going to keep cataloging all this stuff until I think I can figure out how all this stuff works.
So more of a conscientious observer than a go-get-'em kind of hunter.
Oh yeah, very, very, probably a little bit of a coward if I'm being honest.
Okay, hey, there's information can be just as powerful as a weapon as anything else, which means you and Network Zero over here are going to be getting along well. All right, TK Fox, either of you have a general direction you're going in? TK, you looked like you had some gleams in your eyes at times.
So I saw that Ashwood Abbey was in. Is that an option? The Thrill Seekers.
Ashwood Abbey is from first edition, so I would like to use the ones from the second edition. That we're going to be going through.
Well, then I'll go ahead, and I would also like to be Network Zero, and this is why I went for Ashwood Abbey at first.
Okay.
I want to be a blogger. I want to be like a live streamer that goes out and tries to document the supernatural and paranormal.
Hey, demons, it's me.
It's
your boy.
It's your boy.
It's your boy, and their name is Bloody Mary, but with 2 zeros and then a 4 and two threes at the end.
I hate this.
Oh,
I hate
it's
this
gonna be
so
great.
much.
Yeah, they've got like an Instagram. They're like on their Instagram stories, just like, hey,
All right. I see.
we got to see some demons tonight.
Oh, jeez. Okay, this is gonna be interesting. Fox.
So we don't all have to be from the same group then.
No, this concept I was going for. By the way, I've had this. This is my go-to convention game, actually. So I'm very comfortable in this story. I originally had planned it for tier 3s, and having whoever, something happened here, and all the big conspiracies are sending people in to go investigate. So it works just as well for tier 2s, and with especially Network Zero wanting to stick their nose into literally everything they can, and having a null mysterious medical expert, it seems like somebody who's into figuring out about why specific autopsies turn up with glaringly contradictory results at times. That's 100% why their organization would send somebody in. So do you want to be more of the local that's like, this is what I get? I send out an email. I send up the flare.
Oh, that's really tempting. But at the same time, I'm just sitting here looking at Network Zero going like, yeah, but what if she was like a Tumblr kid who writes a lot of creepypasta and like just kind of like layers in like, no, this is that real shit though. I know it doesn't seem very scary, but like actually that nobody takes seriously because she's a really bad writer.
Oh my gosh. Like the person who just like goes is like, okay, but what if, and then this, and like people like share it and goes viral and they're all like, oh, this would be a really good like fiction idea. You're just like, yes, fiction.
Yeah. No, it's actually real. Why do you guys? No, I'm not. This hashtag not shit posting. What are you guys talking about?
So
whatever.
Now that we're actually talking about this, I can bring up, since multiple people are interested in one compact, I can actually bring up the internal factions of each compact can give you more of a direction for what you're part of. So in Network Zero, you have pretty much every compact has 3 sample factions. Obviously, this game is designed as a here's some ideas, go play it at your table and do with it what you will. So their 3 suggested factions are the Record Keepers, who are the largest but most conflicted group. They are citizen journalists, vloggers, and amateur filmmakers who take an objective stance when filming the supernatural. They try to not judge the scene as a hunter, more as somebody who is recording, but they're not going to stop themselves if someone is in danger. Record Keepers have taken a more active approach by wearing a wire and live cameras for first-person perspectives of the hunt. I know who's looking at this group right now. Second is the Army of Truth, who are more aggressive in their tactics. They will hack television channels, websites, live feeds, whatever they can, and they will inject their releases to as large of an audience as possible. They want everyone to see what it is that that is plaguing humanity. This does not earn them many friends, but they are also the quickest to form cells with a clearly defined purpose of investigating one specific thing so that they can confront it on their terms. And finally, you have the secret keepers, who are actually they're within Network Zero, but they're the opposite of what you would expect Network Zero to stand for. They believe that controlled release of information is more powerful than just live broadcasting whatever you can on whatever platform you can. They believe in collecting data, seeding it into powerful locations, and making sure that when people read it, they take it seriously rather than going, oh, look, another tinfoil hat. So those are kind of the three factions that that exist, and they could work in concert on the on a hunt. That's perfectly acceptable. Like there's only, like I said, there's only one real faction that would be like, no, you need to find Jesus first before we work together. Otherwise, how am I going to save everybody else if I have to worry about saving you too? That's kind of their vibe at times. So as you think about that, let me, I'm not saying give me your answers right now. Let me read off the ones for Null Mysterious. Null Mysterious. So that Jeremy can pick out what faction you're feeling. Confident. I should not have closed the document. That was a poor choice. Here we go. They kind of work together in theories. So they don't really have factions. They have more of what each member of Null Mysterious personally believes in. Because Null Mysterious, they don't send hunters directives. They kind of just send us what you got, is the mentality of this compact. So at the top, you have the rationalists, who are 100% of the idea that anything that can be proven, anything that can be proven or disproven with enough time and data. They follow a specific founder who is very much approaching hunting from a skeptic standpoint. They want to be what the hell is the ascot wearer in the Scooby Gang? Fred. Damn it. Why was I was watching Supernatural before. That's why I'm thinking Kevin. Fred, they want to be Fred that pulls the mask off of mean old Mr. McGillicuddy and show off that no, it was actually a can of hairspray, a couple of swimming batons, and a projector.
Let's be honest, Fred is such a Kevin. Sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Shout
I
out to
unmuted
Kevin.
myself. Yeah,
Also,
I unmuted myself and I can't be stopped.
I want to say hi to my roommate. Hi, Kevin.
Kevin.
I want to say hi to one of my best friends. Hi, Kevin. I know you're in the chat. Thanks for tuning in, buddy.
What a blessing.
Next is the Cataclysmicists. I had to read that like 6 times and slowly say it before I was confident in saying it out loud.
Choose that one. Say it out loud.
Cataclysmicists. They are they wish to share everything they have with as many people as possible within the hunting community, whether considered garbage data or not. They're also the most likely to stop something rather than just record it and walk away. They're more Jane Goodall than oh crap, what was his name? I'm thinking of Steve Zissou. I'm thinking of the original guy.
I already gave you my one. Sorry.
The French Submariner.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay.
You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So they're definitely more. They will engage with what they observe, whereas the rationalists will observe and record and then dip. because it's not their job to really interfere. It's just
Bye.
it's just their job to get that information and bring it back to where it can be evaluated and used. The smallest and most ostracized of Null Mysterious are the open minds. They're the ones that they're not skeptical enough for most of the others' tastes. They're the ones that will sit down with somebody who claims to be a warlock and will bust out the pad just as fast and just as intrigued without asking, like, really? You manipulate mana? No, they're the one that's like, no, tell me more. How many sacrifices have you performed? At what moon phase? Gotcha. Like, they're into it. But their openness tends to be they want to talk to the monsters too much, and the others believe that it's a little too dangerous to engage on that level. So that's your Null Mysterious factions. So while Jeremy, you think about that, I'll go around the horn here and see which factions you guys are looking at from this is purely philosophical. We're in the concept stage, character creation, by the way, which is phase 1. So TK,
Yes.
which of those kind of faction-y subsets were you looking at?
Sorry, I'm trying to like look on my phone where I have the book and see where factions is in the book, but it's like I'm trying to like boop boop boop, but it's whatever. So I heard Record Keepers, Army of Truth, and Secret Keepers. Was there any other faction besides that in Network Zero?
Not as it stands.
Okay, then probably Record Keepers.
Okay.
Wait. Oh, I just saw using viral memes. Army of Truth. I changed my mind.
There you go.
Professional journalists. Like, let's be honest. I want to use memes.
And memes are the most
I use memes to
effective
save
form
the
of
world. It's your boy.
All right. Fox. What are you kind of gazing at?
I mean, Army of Truth was definitely what kind of spoke to me as a big fan of the hit 90s movie Hackers, which is a documentary. That's how computers work.
Hack the planet!
Hack the planet. So yeah, Army of Truth is kind of like, okay. I like being aggressive.
Reporter, but like a field reporter from, an embedded journalist.
Yeah.
Kind of can be a vibe for Network Zero as well. They're not all just nerds with cameras. Some of them work out.
I mean, let's be honest. I'm not a nerd, so.
Fair point. You are a truth seeker.
I prefer influencer.
I am an influencer. Have you seen my follows? Do the kids still say follows? Oh my god.
Do the kids.
The youths.
Yeah. Let's show our relatability right here.
Please don't make me. People find out how old I am. I'll never make it on Twitch. Please be kind.
Oh, all right. So to dig ourselves out of that hole quick, Jackie.
I will happily be the record keeper since I'm playing more of the ghost hunter kind of archetype. So I'm all about. Yep, I'm the actual nerd.
so two Army of Truth and a record keeper is what we're looking at here.
Yep.
All right.
Which means I'm probably chasing between the both of them, just going, I gotta get the footage.
We got so much footage though. You want phone? You want handy cam? You want GoPro?
Oh, we got it all.
All of my footage is just me like trying to get really close to ghosts and be like.
It's not a valuable shot if it's not also a selfie.
Yeah. Just like trying to get the right lighting.
I'm just sitting there, with like a portable lighting rig and like a boom mic.
I've got so many orbs. Sorry, I'm gonna mute myself.
All right, Jeremy. What's tickled your fancy about?
I'm going
as the skeptic
on this one because
rational.
I can figure this out. I just need more data.
All right. So a lot of okay. Past times I've played this, it's been more of an active, action-packed kind of a scenario. It's going to be fun running this in more of an investigative route because I've run this game like 5 or 6 times. This specific story, so I'm always up for seeing how new players approach it from different perspectives and seeing not a. Usually, when you say hunter, people immediately are like, "Oh, I get to play Van Helsing. Awesome! I want a revolving barreled crossbow that fires stakes and have like internal explosive devices that release garlic. Like that's what they want." I'm down for some investigative hunters.
I mean, if you'd like, I could be like a machine gun journalist who shoots information bullets at the monsters.
Information bullets.
You say that.
Downvotes.
You say that, but there's gonna be some like spirit or something whose bane is downvotes, and it is going to die.
Just each and every bullet has a thumbs down on it. Okay.
Send them down a Wikipedia rabbit hole.
They're geotagged.
Unsubscribe.
All right. I'm down for some ghost hunting styles. I like
Bullet
it.
points. Get out.
Ow.
Get out of here, chat.
Oof.
Mad at you.
And
I'm
chat.
sorry, Jeremy. For the notes, what faction were you considering? Did you
The
say?
Rationalists.
Nice.
Super Egon.
Sugon? None of these are good.
Egon?
Shin Egon.
More Egon squared is just Egon.
Sue.
Yes,
I hate y'all.
He is the final form of himself. It's true.
it's true.
All right. That's fantastic. Okay. Next. So we all have our concepts. Now, normally people would be expecting, all right, let's hop into some stats. We're not going there yet. We're going to take care of your anchors first. This helps us define the character a little bit more before we start assigning points to anything. Your anchors in Chronicles of Darkness, your anchors are the things that attach you to who you are as a person, both the good parts of you, the bad parts of you, and what keeps you focused. In Hunter, which the thing that I love about Hunter, it doesn't change anything from the mortals. You have a virtue, you have a vice, and you have a touchstone. Your virtue is originally fashioned after the 7 heavenly virtues, but that was the first edition. Now in second edition, it's what is your oh crap, I can't believe I was just what's the primary feature of this patch? What is your shining example of what makes you a good person? What makes you feel like you've done a good thing? What is the one major part of your personality that really speaks when you express it? This can be things like justice. This can be charity. You can feel good when you are let me actually go to the list quick because I have too many thoughts in the old brain case that I keep bouncing around in there. Yeah, here we go. So some examples that are provided in the book. Competitive. When you push yourself, this is the trope in this is healthy competition. So this is the anime trope of the two rivals that are constantly trying to beat each other, but they're actually improving each other at the same time. That's this type of competitive, not the toxic competitiveness. You want honest competition. You feel just as good if you fail than when you succeed, because you know you're learning something. Rivalry sparks the best in you. Generosity is another one. You feel your best when you're giving to others. When you are giving of yourself, when you are giving aid that you have that someone does not, and you're not doing it for the sake of any kind of gratitude or reward. It just feels good. Justice, as I mentioned before. If you feel like you are pushing your a sense of fairness and a sense of justice is the thing that keeps you it makes you feel best. You want everyone to get what they deserve, and you will stick your neck out to make sure that it happens. Loyalty. Do you feel best when you are sticking by your friends through thick and thin? When somebody supports you and you return with some form of sacrifice to protect someone that you care about. And then there's patience can also be a virtue. When you take careful consideration before committing to something, even at the cost of possibly missing your window, but pays off, that is someone who is their patience, their calm, their composure is their greatest virtue in there. This is how you feel about yourself. This is what makes you feel good. So you can also have an adjective or a virtue that you feel that you've come up with that can be easily defined in like a sentence or two. And what this does is that when you perform this virtue and you this is the mechanics end of it, by the way. When you perform an act in alignment with this virtue at risk and cost to yourself, you recover all your willpower. This is the feeding the soul kind of idea. You get that rebolstering to help you keep going through your hunt. So if anybody wants to volunteer themselves first for an idea of what they're looking at.
I get one.
Okay.
Thorough.
Okay.
When partway through doing something, the character just doesn't like. If there's more to be done, it should be done. It needs to be seen to completion.
He's a completionist. I like it. I like that a lot. Fox, what are you looking at?
The form fillable character sheet you sent us, because it's got a really handy little drop down list that has a bunch of words in it. And I'm looking at these words going, hopeful sounds really good. I kind of like that.
That is a good one.
I like that as a virtue. For those who hunt monsters, lest they become, should probably have a bright side to be looking forward to, a light at the end of the tunnel.
So when you reject skepticism or reject failure for a brighter future at a cost to yourself, that's when you'll be getting your willpower, all of your willpower back. I like that one. Jackie, you have something you're leaning towards?
Yeah, I was leaning towards being honest. I kind of see my character as because he's wanting to just get all the information, all the data, and it fits really well with him being a record keeper, wanting to have the raw footage, wanting to be honest about that, but then also not even that, just himself wanting to be an honest person as well.
Oh, he's the type of guy that would get arrested immediately, so long as the truth got out. That's what was important.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
That is definitely him.
All right, I'm down with that.
I really, really like that.
All right, TK, what's vibing with you over there?
If I'm understanding correctly, virtues are supposed to be difficult to fulfill. Is that right? And that's why you get something that's because they're long term, and so you have to actually sacrifice something to achieve them. Is that right? Or
yes, it is a guide.
Okay.
It is a guiding purpose to your personality, but it's not like every time you talk, like if somebody's generous, they're not going to be completely refilled of their soul when they toss a quarter into a homeless guy's cup. But if they stopped their day, missed an interview, got that guy up off the floor, took him into a restaurant, got him hot food, and then took him and paid for a motel room for a night for that person, and made them miss an interview and miss out time with their family, and it just at either risk or cost to oneself that is significant, then it's like I did a good thing. I'm not doing the best myself, but I did a good thing, and that's what keeps me going.
Probably diligence.
Ooh, all right, sticking to the plan.
Yeah, if there's a plan made.
Well, you can have a basic plan that you always got going.
Yeah.
Like the plan is get followers.
Followers.
Ideally, not the kind that come out of the corner of the room and they've got teeth at impossible angles. Those
Okay.
are bad followers.
Bad followers.
I mean,
They're bad follows. They're not good dogs. They're very bad dogs.
are there any bad dogs?
The Hounds of Tindalos are bad dogs. I feel confident
that's fair.
saying that.
Or do they just need scritchies?
Are they really
They want to
dogs?
eat my face.
They have a very
Doggish.
specific preference for scritchies. They just know their
You're
worth.
just- yeah, you're.
It's
just
not compatible with my blood being inside my body, so hard pass.
Agree to disagree, I guess.
All right. So now that everybody's picked out the shining side of their coin, it's time to flip that coin over and look at the marked two-faced side of that coin.
The even shinier side.
These are your vices.
Shit.
Now, these are things that you indulge in that make you feel good in the moment. You might feel like shit later about it, but in the moment, you feel good about it. These are your being ambitious. Now, you can be ambitious, but being ambitious where you literally step on somebody else's back in the moment, that gives you yes, I'm advancing because I see someone else falling below me. That kind of ambition. Arrogance, proving you're better because you said you're better, and then they get to see why you're better. Proving your superiority, even in a moment of distress, is what you feel better about yourself in the moment. Cruelty. Not only did you make sure that thing got what had coming, but you also made it hurt. You made them suffer, and they deserved it, and it felt good to make them hurt. Laziness. I would call this the classic sloth maneuver. Why, if you can help make something happen by not actually doing it, that's even better. Whereas cruelty is making somebody feel sad and emotionally hurt, the violence would love to see somebody in physical pain for what they feel they deserve. It feels good to hurt somebody. And you regain 1 point of willpower when you appease your darker instincts at the risk of yourself, but mostly at the expense of someone else. So just calling somebody names doesn't give you a willpower back if you're cruel, but crushing somebody to the point where they pull back from whatever you're working on, or they pull back from talking or even offering information, that'll get you a point. So there's also a nice big old drop down list on your interactive sheets. So if you see something that is not on the list I just talked about, you want to throw it out there for yourself, please do so. So who's got something they're already looking at, so I don't have to start digging into your brains involuntarily?
I can volunteer.
Okay.
I'm picking ambitious. Got to get that footage. Got to want to get that footage, get all that data, and got to load it up. I really just want to get all that data.
The truth needs to get out, but it's only the best case scenario when I'm the one that put it out there.
Yes,
That
I gotta be
vibe.
the first one. I gotta be the first one. First post.
I like it.
Oh, God.
Firsties. All right. Who else?
I'm gonna go from the drop-down list in this one. Pessimistic. This is a guy who's surrounded himself with death and disappointment and just assumes the worst of everything.
Oh, it's
We're going swimmingly.
We're all gonna die. It's all over. And then everyone dies and it's all over. And it's Ghosts. He's just sitting there. I fucking told you so.
Even set my
pessimism
watch
is-
to it. 15 minutes, everyone dead.
Pessimism is when you so when you purposefully make somebody else feel hopeless. And then it comes to pass and you're proven right about the nihilism of the existence of this world, then you'll get a willpower. 1 point back. Okay, Fox, are you looking at one?
I'm foolishly looking at 2 because I'm kind of waffling a bit here. Because a good fallback for me is I saw like hasty, so it's like like being short-sighted and like acting before you thinking kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then I also saw violent at the bottom of the list and went, oh, that
Mhm.
has potential. So
Oh, heck yeah.
yeah, I'm like,
Embedded journalist really is starting to
Yeah.
come.
I
Do it.
like the idea of there being some teeth behind the, sort of silly
Yeah.
creepypasta stuff.
Like, what's his name from Brooklyn Nine-Nine? That's been who is deep undercover for that mafia boss.
Oh, God.
yes,
It's just
screw
like,
it.
I'm just gonna have to kill that guy.
I'm going with violent. The hell with it.
Okay. I like it.
Oh man.
Hopeful
TK.
and violent. This is gonna be great.
Yeah. It's a good combo. Real healthy. My therapist says I'm making a lot of progress.
Well, that's what you hope anyway.
Well, yeah.
All right. TK, what are you leaning towards?
Since my virtue was diligence, I think my vice is going to be untrustworthy.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Okay. So, if you give your word, and somebody accepts that and trusts you, but then you do whatever the hell you want, regardless of said, promise, in that moment of, well, I told you not to trust anybody, you would get a point of willpower back.
Yeah.
So to also help you guys understand how often this can happen, so you're not machine gun firing, being either the best or the worst people and flipping back and forth. These can only happen once. Virtues can only happen once per session. Vices can only happen once per scene. So I think everybody here understands the difference between what constitutes a scene, at least in game terms.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Speak now, if not. Otherwise, I'm going on. So this allows you to, because honestly, the vices are supposed to be the easy thing that makes you feel better about yourself and you're a bit of a dick. So the opportunity to do that usually presents itself a hell of a lot more than the opportunity to be your best self. Also, mechanically, it works out great because you get only one for the vices. It all works together. It's strange. There's balance and a logic to the system. Wow. It's almost like Chronicles is the best balanced system I've dealt with. I play it constantly. Anyway. All right. Now we have your touchstones. Touchstones are the things that keep you in the hunt. In Chronicles of Darkness, mortals have something called integrity. This is not a measure of how woohoo crazy, like that bad old school mentality of insanity. It's not that. Integrity is how much you believe in yourself and how far away from what you believe you should be you get. Sometimes that does involve mental illness, but that's not always the case. Sometimes it's just if you've ever met somebody who's just truly broken, that's somebody with low integrity. Someone with high integrity is able to push past and go beyond in their day-to-day life, and when they are challenged by things, that's somebody of higher integrity. Now, this is not morality as defined by the old Victorian sense of this is the list of sins against morality, for those of you who are familiar with older World of Darkness properties that are similar. This is definitely more of a what breaks you down and what breaks your personality down, hence why it's your integrity.
Kind of like in the same way you would say hull integrity for like a ship, like
yes,
how well it's holding together.
But this is for your psyche and your personality,
right?
Your faith in yourself and consequently others. So, your touchstone at this point in character creation, your touchstone is a person, place, or thing, something that exists in your world, that is tangible, that keeps you grounded, that somebody that you can go to and unload all of your frustrations to, something that reassures your faith in yourself and humanity. This can be something as simple as a bar buddy that you always know you can go grab a beer, sit down with her, and just unload, and they will sit there nodding, understanding, letting you know what they think. And then at the end of the night, yeah, I feel better about that. I feel better about everything. That's reinforcing your personality and your integrity. It can be for the more faithful, it can be a favorite church to go to for confessional. And although you're not supposed to know who's on the other side of the wall in the confessional booth, you know when a specific priest is on and scheduled to be doing confessions. So you always go to that one confessional, and that's your confidant, both to God and also person that you have faith in. And that exchange reaffirms your sense of self and your personal integrity. They don't even have to be alive. It can be a gravestone that you go and talk to. You talk to no one. You sit there, you cut the grass, so you cut the flyaway grass away from around the headstone where the landscapers don't pay attention because they just run the lawnmower through. You adjust the plants that have fallen over. You swap out fresh flowers while you talk to the headstone. It can be your favorite park. I had a character who's in a previous game who his touchstone was going to the dog park and not even talking to people, just engaging with the dogs at the dog park. And it didn't have to be a specific dog. It didn't have to be a specific anything. He just wanted to be around these animals in this one place, and it made him feel closer to who he is. So, knowing how open-ended of a concept that is, what kind of ideas do you guys have for your characters? And if anybody wants to kind of throw themselves onto the fire for this one to kind of examine an idea right away to help the others, please go first.
I'll get one.
Hit me.
The Optimist. Like, the character has a fellow colleague who hasn't seen the weird shit that he has, is in this business to help people, is really just super enthusiastic about trying to make the world a better place. And the character is like, I don't believe in what you say, but I really wish I did.
All right, so like maybe a college roommate or a college associate that you went. Wow, I can't think of the word that somebody you went to school with is. An old college acquaintance.
Classmate.
I need more caffeine in my life.
Here to serve, Conry.
If there's anybody, if they can hear me up there in the great beyond, if an energy drink were to come down those stairs and land in my hand, I would be greatly appreciated. he said to those above him. Anyway, a classmate that you both went to the same kind of classes. You both went into medical, and then you kind of went your separate ways, but kept in touch. But they went and actually worked at a hospital, whereas you went crazy coroner, monster hunter, and you keep in touch and you try to share stories. But hearing that, you're hunting the monsters. You still know people can be shit to each other, but that the shit that people do to each other, it can be worse, but people know about it, at least for the most part. The monsters, they're unknowable for the most part, and it's your job to find out and make them more understandable so that you can bring them in and put them in that box so that you can understand the monster. It kind of went off the rails there for a second. I understand that was a little
It's all
rambly
good.
and not well put together. Like I said, caffeine, he said once more to the sky. Hoping.
Word from the chat is that it's on the way.
Oh, okay, cool.
Mind you, you'll have to trust Kevin, but
no, not Estes. That's different. That's alcohol. No, we want more mental acuity, not less. All right. So, does anybody else have an idea of what they're looking towards?
Yes.
Okay, hit me.
It is my assumption that my live streamer gets refreshed through like internet drama, so they have a frenemy. Which is a rival live streamer and beauty blogger who constantly engages in internet drama with them.
But at the same time, it's grounding because it's internet drama.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world.
It doesn't matter.
It's net drama. At the end of the day, who got more views doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But you're engaging with another person that isn't trying to rip your face off and eat it. And that's
it's very like low stakes and routine. So
see, guys, prayer does work. Thank you.
Quit. I'm leaving.
But that's not faith at that point. That's proof.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
All right. So TK, I love that.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Jackie, Fox, who wants to throw theirs next into the
Fox?
Sure. I joked about my therapist. The more I think about it, the more I don't hate that idea.
There's actually an entry for that in the second edition rules.
Oh.
No therapist. The only one that you trust not to judge you when you admit to all your blackest thoughts and most paralyzing fears. They think you speak in metaphor, though, and that the ghosts that haunt you are more internal.
No.
They
Orbs, sweetheart.
They try to help you, get past those
fucking vampires. It's not. She's literally sucking my blood. You don't. Okay. Well, Debbie, this was a great session. We'll try again next week.
I love that her name is Debbie.
I will take your advice for nonviolent solutions. I'll keep that in mind.
All right, I'll keep that in mind.
Yes, I only just metaphorically chopped its head off with an axe.
Yeah.
Metaphorically only.
I buried my past, and by buried I mean in a shallow grave, and by my past I mean the chupacabra.
Oh, I like that. Okay. Jackie, you having any leanings?
Yeah, so I'm thinking of a former college roommate who actually became a successful filmmaker, and I'm just the worst. And I'm the one who didn't quite get so popular or famous about it. But the thing is, despite everything, we both like to talk shop. We like to compete. So in that regard, so it keeps up with his ambition, his kind of ambitious nature.
How about they work in the newsroom at like the Washington Post?
Oh, I love it. Even better.
It's just like, where are you now? Why are you in Indiana? I've never even heard of Centerville. What the hell? Why are you there? I got a hot scoop. It's great. There's like 6 people have been skinned alive. Oh, okay. I'm gonna go cover the impeachments. Send me what you get though. I am fascinated.
You know, if it bleeds, it leads.
There you go.
There you go. I love it.
Yes. So what we have done is the first 2 stages of character creation. These characters are more they're more realized than what you would expect from starting right away from putting some points down. But now that you have this realization about these characters, we can get into putting some damn points down. All right. So how many of you in our little group have played Chronicles of Darkness or any D10 based system before? I hope all of you have.
Tons.
Any yes, this one no.
Okay. TK, how much have you played of D10s?
I played 2 sessions of Mage, and I played a lot of World of Darkness way back.
Old school. Okay.
Yeah.
All
Same,
right.
pretty
so,
much.
Without going too deep into the idiosyncrasies.
No, go as deep as you want.
18 plus, folks.
Okay.
It's okay. My husband went to bed. It's fine. He's not listening.
So, Connery, how deep are you gonna go?
I'm the storyteller. I'm going to be the responsible one tonight.
Okay.
Responsible for going deep?
I will accept this as a soft no. That no's getting harder by the minute.
No, so D10s.
Right the ship.
D10s, dice, cold water, baseball. D10s are what we are going to be rolling in the system. The way World of Darkness, Chronicles of Darkness, specifically 2nd edition Hunter, do this is by assigning dots, which each dot represents a single die, to attributes and to skills. When any action is taken, for the most part, an attribute will be called upon and a skill will be called upon. Those two, the number of dots from those two values will be merged together into a dice pool, and then you're going to roll them, and you're looking for 8s, 9s, and 10s. And the other part of it is 10s get to be re-rolled. It's called the 10 again rule. That's the basics of the way the dice system works. So for stats, we start off with your attributes. Your attributes are broken up into 3, we'll call them fields, and then you have 3, oh god, I'm going into Trinity mode right now. 3 different approaches to each one. I don't think that's the official wording for that. But essentially you have your power, you have your finesse, and you have your resilience in each of the 3 fields of physical, mental, and social. Each one, this giving you a 9 stat array. So the way we generate our base stats is you start off with 1 dot in every stat. Physical, it is strength, dexterity, and I want to make sure I say the right thing. There's so many different ones.
Believe in you.
Stamina. I was right to not say constitution off the top of my head. Strength, dexterity, and stamina. In your mental field, you have intelligence, wits, and resolve, going in order of power, finesse, and resistance. And then finally, at the very end, you have social, which presence, manipulation, and composure. So for your characters, you need to pick the primary field: physical, mental, or social. Which of those 3 is your primary focus of what your character is best at? Next, You need to pick a secondary, and then finally you'll pick. Well, the last one will receive points as well, but you need to pick a primary, a secondary, and your tertiary will be obvious at the end of that. Any questions, please ask. If you need to, what does this mean?
Everything is going so well. I look forward to not being the intellectual powerhouse of this group.
I have a feeling somebody might be going social.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I'm just gonna crack wise. Like, yeah, we're kind of like a bunch of nerds and internet weirdos. So.
That's how most hunters. Have you never seen Goonies? Like,
which Goonie are you? Wait.
Oh no.
Oh, here we go.
Oh no.
Okay, I changed my mind.
I cannot tell a lie. I've never seen the Goonies.
Oh, that's fine. It doesn't make any sense for them to be hunting for Spanish doubloons in like Oregon anyway, but it's fine.
Oregon's lousy with pirates.
Spanish pirates?
Yeah.
Why not?
They kind of got
Oregon
around
is the
there.
Spanish word for pirate. Everybody knows this.
Oh,
Check it out on the internet.
I refuse to Google it, even though like every millennial molecule in my body is screaming.
I need to know.
I'm right.
Google it.
All right.
I'm doing it.
So each of you has your primary, secondary, tertiary kind of sorted out?
Yep.
All right. Now that you have that in your primary, like I said, every stat begins at 1, and then you have 5 dots to distribute amongst those 3 stats in your primary. So go ahead and slap those in. Also, this is not the end of your characters getting access to this kind of stuff, so do not think this is final. You're going to be getting a few extra things along the way.
I'm really mad that Oregon is apparently like a Spanish word. I'm just going to not put anything in intelligence. That's a good idea.
And here I thought Oregon was just named after the that spice that the herb you put on your.
Hey,
apparently it is a related word according to the line of Wikipedia that I read. I read 2 sentences and one of them involved the word oregano.
I'm not disappointed in you, but I feel like you should be disappointed in you for actually going and looking that up.
Joke's on you. I'm never disappointed in me because my standards are so low.
I'm just glad we all learned something here today and have grown as people.
We did.
Mm-hmm. The more you
put more in strength.
All right. So everybody distributed 5 points into their primary.
Yep.
I've done that very thing.
Did I? Okay.
The next is going to be 4 dots into your secondary. I'm not going super fast here, so if you're still figuring out your primary, you're not far behind. And then your tertiary gets 3 dots. So just go and plant those in there. And while you guys are doing that, I'm actually going to go ahead and explain some of them. So everybody understands something like strength or dexterity. Those are common usages of stats in a lot of tabletop RPGs. Not many TTRPGs have 3 separate social stats, though. I'm looking at you, greatest game in in RPGs. We have 3 here, each one representing a different aspect of social interaction. Your presence is, how well do you do walking into a room? I mean, 5 is like, so if 1 is just existing and 5 is like Olympic level, somebody with presence of 1 is a wallflower at a party. Presence 5 is Prince. Just that's it. Actually, I think Prince might be 6 or 7. If I'm really thinking about it.
I'll give Prince 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, Prince does not have a character sheet. Prince has ascended.
Yes.
He's kind of moved beyond our mere mortal numbers and reckonings.
God.
I would not put it past Prince having been a mage. And
At least.
Prince definitely climbed the silver ladder.
I love him.
Oh, yeah.
So next would be like manipulation. Now, this is how well somebody can get somebody else to do something that they want while making them think it was their idea in the first place. Everybody knows somebody that can, like you're dead set on doing this thing today, and then they show up and they start talking, and then all of a sudden you're doing something completely different, and you feel like it was a great idea that you had, but the idea was not in your brain before they showed up.
We, in my area, we call it selling ketchup popsicles to a woman in white gloves.
That also sounds like it might be a vampire euphemism.
Okay.
You
It could work.
You got me.
It can work.
You got me.
If it don't work already, we can make it work.
Well.
Clearly, we have
so
a
that's your
ketchup
manipulation.
popsicle situation.
Like nobody's going to eat that.
No, I would not. That sounds wretched.
I'm having very bad mental images now, and I'm not going to share them because I'm
Some things are just for Conry, for him to enjoy.
yeah.
Why are you like this? Who hurt you?
Mostly me. So next,
Rip.
next is composure, which is your ability to keep your cool. How are you at taking criticism and not letting it affect at least how you feel and how or how you present your feelings? Do you haul off and punch somebody the second they give you an insult, or do you collect that data, remember it, and then bring it back when they least expect it? That's your composure rating. So my little group of my little hunter cell here, do you guys have any questions? Have you assigned your primary, secondary, and tertiary attribute dots?
Yep.
I am well dotted.
You're
Yeah.
dotted.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
All
just
right.
overall, right? Not in each column.
What do you mean?
When you say assign a primary, secondary, and tertiary, it's spread over 9 and not 3 different columns.
Okay, we have to adjust. The primary is the column. So primary, physical.
Oh, that
3.
makes sense.
And then you distribute.
Thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate that.
No problem. That's what this is for. So yeah, it's the primary, secondary, and tertiary columns. That's the fields, the mental.
Thank
physical,
you.
social.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
If you're okay with how you with moving along with that, I'm gonna kind of move forward to skill. I'm not leaving you far behind. Feel free to ask questions while I'm doing this. Next part. Next, we're moving on to is skills. We're doing the same technique of picking a primary, secondary, and tertiary of mental, physical, and social, but these apply to skills. These are learned things that you had to sit and learn.
Like a skill.
Like a skill.
Ah,
I'm good with many word things.
not just a clever name.
Yeah. So these will be once you have selected. There's, let's see here, 8, 2, 3, 4. Yes, there are 8 skills in each category: mental, physical, and social. The main thing that separates these 3 is that if you try to attempt a task that involves a skill that you do not have, you get an unskilled penalty. So you make your dice pool as normal. And then if you didn't put anything in it from your skill, well, now you have to take a die away if it's unskilled. If it's an unskilled mental task, that's -3. Because, well, let's be honest, if somebody tried to do science without knowing anything about science, it would turn out way worse than trying to catch a ball without having been in a sports arena. There's a possibility you might have enough physical coordination to catch a ball instinctively. There's no instinctive astrophysics. You got to know math, a lot of math.
Can confirm. Tried to split the atom once, did not go well.
I disagree, but that's probably because I put only 1 dot in intelligence.
Oh. We're gonna. Don't worry.
Good.
I'll get
I put 2.
I can read.
Don't worry. I will get
I
to
just choose
desperation.
not to.
I will get to desperation checks later. So, in your primary field, you have 11 dots to distribute. In your secondary field, you have 7 dots to distribute.
Oh boy.
And in your tertiary field, you have 4.
Okay. And these line up with the primary, secondary, and tertiary we assign to attributes?
They don't have to be the same.
Don't.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yes. I love doing a completely opposite, like primary physical. They're in the gym all the time, but also went to post-grad in medicine. So like they might, this allows you to be like somebody who was not a natural book learner, but applied themselves so fucking hard. They know what they know. They might not have information about everything or just know shit off the top of their head, but they know medicine and they know therapy and they know how to mend a bone. Don't ask them about a car, but they'll know how to put a splint together. But they're also not the brightest person in the room, though. Like Ben Carson is a great example of somebody who doesn't.
No, go ahead. Finish that sentence. I can tell you put a lot of conviction behind it.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Just because you're a brain surgeon does not make you a great housing secretary. I'm just putting that out there.
I appreciate the direction that ended up taking.
I'm just going to assign these dots. Excuse me. Just a moment.
I was really scared that was going to be like in Ben Carson's defense. And I was like, no. I really do quit. Okay. Goodbye.
The one thing in his defense is he does have a very high like neurosurgery rate. Like, but that's all he does.
I plan to put everything in crafts, so I hope you guys are ready to carry me through this game.
Firearms, brawl, drive.
Crafts is a great skill to have.
Crafts. This is something that I kind of I use it from another. It was in another World of Darkness game or Chronicles of Darkness game. I forget specifically which, but this is how I run crafts. Crafts is not. I put 3 dots in crafts, and therefore I can sculpt, be a car mechanic, and weld in equal measure. When you select crafts, whatever special, you have to take a specialty in crafts to define what craft it is that you do.
Origami. Your face. Perfection.
I am a firm believer. Let your players make their bed. So if you want to lie in that,
I can make my bed out of paper. Delicately folded paper.
You know what? Have fun sleeping in that bed. I legitimately have a question though, Conry. What the heck is weaponry cover under physical?
Okay, so brawl is hit it with your fists. Weaponry is hit it with anything you can pick up.
Got it.
Improvised weaponry. For me, the equipment item that you pick up, because there are certain things called brawling aids that will give you die bonuses when you brawl, but it's technically a weapon. That's a tag that's applied to certain things. So, like brass knuckles is a brawling aid. I could consider rope a brawling aid if you're trying to grapple somebody. But for the most part, if you're picking it up and using it to strike somebody, you're going to be using the weaponry skill.
Got it. Thank you much.
You're very welcome. Any other questions about any of these skills? Also, you'll notice that there's no like perception skill. That's because perception is something that we all kind of do naturally. We all naturally perceive things in our own ways. That's a combined role of wits and composure. How fast you think versus how calm you are dictates how observant you can be. So don't worry about where do I put perception down? That's covered.
Okay, so primary is 11, tertiary is 4. What was the number for secondary?
7. I'm actually
7,
thinking
cool.
of getting these tattooed onto my flesh. The number of times I've told people how to make a character in Chronicles, and it's been 5 4 3 11 7 4 for the whole time I've been playing this.
Oh, I see it's written at the bottom of the page. Cool.
There's a cheat sheet.
Oh, dip! It totally is.
Yeah, it is. I was going to mention that.
Take that, snitches.
Or you
No,
can be like me and
it's
just tattoo it on your flesh.
That seems strange.
It's just mentally ingrained to me. I will, you know.
Somebody has already tattooed it on the tree flesh.
Well,
Oh, paper.
Okay.
Too many
Well,
crickets.
okay,
Okay.
someone's tattooed it.
I got more
on
dots this sign.
The photons, I guess.
Me too.
'cause it's a digital sheet.
Yeah.
Photons.
tasty photons.
Don't
Academics. Like I'm going to put anything in academics.
Actually, the social skill expression. What all does that cover?
Singing, dancing,
Gross.
Gotcha. Okay.
public
Writing
speaking,
too.
poetry, writing, anyway, anything that involves you displaying emotion through a medium is expression.
Got it.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Oh, I have 2 more.
Blogging also covers expression, especially if you're like a video blogger. If you're
Yeah.
like,
Don't mind if I just put a few more in that.
yeah.
I would, shit, I should have covered this at the top. Nothing at 5 to start.
6, 7, 8, 9.
That's something I
10,
should put out there.
11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
And that's for
19,
attributes
21.
and skills, or just skills?
I'll say both. You're tier 2
Okay.
hunters, not tier 5.
Works for me.
Yeah.
Nothing above 4, which usually doesn't happen,
Okay.
but occasionally you get that person who decides they want to be like an Olympic level triathlete, and they put 5 dots into both shooting and skiing, and what's the that's biathlon, the Norwegian drive-by.
I'm sorry, what?
Biathlon.
I was assigning dots for a second there. I come back up for air. It's like, you know what? I'm just gonna go back in. Last 4 assigned. It's safer there.
Have you ever actually watched the biathlon? It's
I'm assigning
fascinating.
dots,
Yeah.
Conry.
Okay.
Time for me to take some out of larceny real quick. No reason. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah.
I love watching the biathlon. It's just like, there they are, cross country skiing. They've come to a station and they're now shooting things.
I like watching biathlons, but I always got to use an incognito tab.
Didn't that sport like come out of World War I or something, or World War II? It's one of those where it's like,
Yes,
That was military training.
it was Norwegian military training.
That's what I
mountaineer squads, mountaineer divisions are.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still dope, but like,
Actually, it was. I think it was Norway also fought a very hard war in that era, and they had the advantage because of ice skating.
Yep.
Question.
Sure.
So crafts,
More you know.
can I argue for 3D printing?
Okay, you could make that argument, but as a responsible storyteller, I would let you know that those points would probably not be applicable to this game.
Yo, fair. Just wondering.
Like it might have its place at another table in another game.
Okay.
I just don't want you to sit there and go, well, I wasted points on the freaking 3D printing.
I will never feel that way, but I do appreciate your honesty.
I also want to make sure that everybody feels like they get value out of character creation. There's nothing worse than building a character, sitting down, and you build like Aquaman, and you find out you're playing in the Gobi Desert.
Ugh.
Like,
Every
good.
ranger I've ever built.
I can talk to fish. You just bring a bag goldfish with you just so you have company now.
Yep.
And all it says is, "Why am I here?"
You're the worst. King of the Sea's my ass.
I hate this.
I didn't vote for you. All right.
It just shows what you know, goldfish. You don't vote for kings. Sorry.
Power comes from
Goldfish
a
are
mandate
dumb.
for the people, not some farcical aquatic ceremony. That worked too well. All right. Everybody have their points assigned.
God help me, I do.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, you're gonna get some specialties. Now, what a specialty is a specific task within the greater subheading of skills that you get a +1 die bonus whenever you're performing that one skill. For example, pistols. You get whenever you're taking the firearms action and you're using a pistol, you get a +1 to your roll, a +1 die to your roll. If you take, let's say, trauma for medicine, when you are dealing with somebody who is dealing with physical, like a first aid situation that is more than just a cut, like you're trying to do like trauma surgery, putting somebody's guts back in, you would get a +1, which would be different than field medic, which would be if you were ever performing patch up jobs on somebody who just needs a bandage around the cut really fast. Let's go. Then you would get a +1 when doing medicine that way. Now here's the other thing. You can put multiple specialties into one skill. You can have as many as you want. You're expected to write this on the small line after the dots. I usually make a separate page or a separate little like notepad thing to make sure I know which is what, because there's not a lot of room. Like investigation, you have enough to put eyes. So I believe you get 3 specialties for character creation. If
That's what it says at the bottom of this piece of paper.
So
Plus 3 specialties.
Nice. My memory has not failed me yet. Sort of. Don't hold me to that. Also, these, if you're going to come up, if you want some suggestions, there are suggestions in the skills section of pretty much every Chronicles of Darkness book. So go ahead and grab those if you want. From there, or if you have an idea for one and you want to ask, like you asked about crafts before with 3D printing, I could say whether it's a good idea, because sometimes people go too broad, some people go too narrow. I want you to get the most out of this thing. It's likely to happen, but it doesn't happen every time. Like brawl, I want to use boxing, too general. Grappling, okay, that'll work. Striking, okay, that'll work. So...
Yeah. So I was thinking athletics. I think that they were a competitive like cheerleader and gymnast.
Oh, wow. High energy. That explains the high energy.
Yeah. So I think gymnastics is going to be their athletics.
That's very good.
And then computer. Yeah.
Computer should be used for how to operate and maintenance computers. There could be an argument made that academics research could be used if you're going to do an internet search, but I would also accept like net searches for computer. But you can't put just internet because that's stupid.
I think for computer, because they are a live streamer, it would be about like image retouching and things like that.
See, now
like
that
propaganda machine stuff.
See, I might even consider that expression.
Oh, yeah, I can put that in expression.
because it's more about how you present your information to be most effective versus knowing how to use the program to make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were just if you wanted to be like just using Photoshop, I could get that. But if you're trying to get a message out, I would use that as expression, and then I would put that down as something like marketing could even cover that in expression.
Yeah, marketing.
Because marketing is a form of expression.
Yeah.
It is.
All right. Anybody have any questions about or something they have a hang up on? I see that we got like 15 minutes left of scheduled time. I'm okay going a little bit further if you guys want to keep going. I don't think we have anything on after us. Jeremy, you're the one in charge of the stream for that.
Yeah, I mean, we shouldn't go too long because people have lives, but it's not a big deal if it's not exact.
Okay. Just putting it out there. I'm always I'm always a little too enthusiastic and just exuberant about continuing.
How would you narrow down something like a cult?
Yeah, actually.
Occult, I would narrow down in terms of type of creature or type of activity. So occult, the ones they give in the book would be like casting lots, divinations, hauntings, specific types of monsters, urban legends, exorcisms, witchcraft.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead with exorcism because I think this person's background is that they were possessed once and had to have an exorcism.
And don't use too much meta knowledge when creating these. So if you know a lot about another book from Chronicles of Darkness, don't go putting, I have occult specialty in the Strix. You're a tier 2 hunter, calm your tits.
But they're so excited.
I think they just know because they had an exorcism, so they know a little bit more than most people about exorcism.
No, the specialization means you looked into it, you read up on it. So totally still works with your concept of like, I experienced this thing and now I really want to invest time in understanding what happened in front of me.
Okay.
Still 100% works.
Okay.
I just want to make sure it's not a passing, I kind of dealt with this thing once and nobody else really does, so it's my specialty. No, specialty is something you know. It's your bag.
Yeah.
All right. Everybody else?
Yeah, I gotta pin down my last one.
Okay.
And not put Tokyo Drift under driving, so
you can put drifting down under driving.
I know, but
I played a drift racer in one of my games
also work,
before.
but probably wouldn't be good for this game.
What good could it possibly bring me? As funny as it would be.
Actually, chases, traffic.
Yeah.
If you want to be a driver and you want to have those kind of skills, that's there.
Ramming speed.
I put 2 dots in drive already.
Good, then I'm taking mine out. I'm putting it somewhere else.
All right, so
to keep drive.
So to keep everybody moving forward and on task, if you guys want to message me afterwards to run your specialties past me, you only get 3 at this stage, so we can always come back to it. If you're thinking about it, it's probably one of the easiest things to come up with right before games. So as long as you understand the concept behind it, we can go over it before we begin next week on the interim. So the next phase is template, I believe. Let me go to the wonderful handy dandy list order of operations. Anchors, attributes, skills, skill specialties, apply tiered template. So all of you already have done most of the tier template work. What tier templating, the tier template does is that each tier gets certain benefits. Tier 1s get access to tactics, which are going to be something that you guys are going to go over. I'm going to try and get to it, but just to explain it quickly right now. Tier 2 gets access to a special compact background merit that gives you access to something special from your compact that you're part of. And tier 3 get access to something called endowments, which are your crazy tech / hunter powers of cinema darlingness. We're not doing those. We're doing a little bit more of a low end, a middle of the road game. So you're going to have access to your compact dots. So whatever compact you guys joined, what I need you to do is write the name of the compact as the first thing in your merit section and then put 1 dot. So for the 3 of you, that will be Network 0. And for 1 of you, that will be Null Mysterious. And since you're only going with 2 different groups, this makes it easy on me.
You're welcome.
As I pull up the compact section. All right. Network 0. For those of you who have taken Network 0, the first thing you get is membership in Network 0, which is the status that I just told you to write down on your merit section. And for 1 dot, you are a talented filmmaker who's been given access to private network and have mastered how to encrypt and decrypt files. You gain a free skill specialty in computers or craft, reflecting your technological prowess and skill with filmmaking. So you 3 Null Mysterious peoples get an extra skill specialty added on top of that, but only in computers or crafts. So you can think about that as you wrap up your character. Our Null Mysterious Hunter is going to have access to, as an academic who's welcome to attend any Null Mysterious meeting you wish, you gain a free paranormal skill specialty in either academics, occult, or science. So if you want to put occult necrophages, you would know folklore about things that eat dead flesh. That would count. An academic skill specialty about paranormal stuff might be mythology or mythological creatures, that kind of stuff. But because it's in academics, it's stuff you've learned from books rather than practical application running into them personally. Not that you'd want to run into most of them personally. So that's what you get for your first dot in these merits. And that's the template pretty much. I am wrong. Tactics. We get to do tactics, which are special group activities to bond you as a group. No, that's not wholly true. Okay, so what tactics is something that you take as a think of it like a maneuver that if your character has it, you can run this play. You're the quarterback. This is your play. To use the sports ball term. So, an example could be a binding. You know how to trap or hold a spirit, ghost, or demon in some kind of either it's a circle on the ground, maybe it's a salted room. We're open to interpretation and character flavor. Maybe you know how to unspool copper wire in a specific way that interferes with their electromagnetic resonances. You want to get super detailed with it. I'm realizing now that there's only one example in the previews, which is binding and warding. I will have to go over. Let's see here. We got tactics and these are something that came from first edition as well, so I can kind of show off these as something here. Endowments, tactics, boom. Sample tactics can include. Get to the freaking section. Damn it. Okay. Nope. That's complications. Descriptions. Here we go. Controlled immolation. Corralling. Cripple claws. Deprogramming. dentistry. Dentistry?
Break their
Oh.
teeth.
Defanging somebody.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I had to
Well,
think about it for a second.
Womp womp.
I'm gonna go ahead and be messy with that. It's like, how hard can it be? I have one
bulky hammer.
intelligence.
Disappear, exorcisms, hamstringing, harvesting, identifying.
I'm having some trouble seeing where to put this on the.
Oh, you've been
form
given
fill.
the blue book sheets, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So
We have indeed.
oh boy, I would make a second character sheet. I would make a Word document that you can write this stuff, the stuff that doesn't fit on what's here down.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because I realize first edition sheets don't work really either, because the first edition sheets don't have integrity, aspirations, conditions, all those things that you're going to be needing. We can go over some of the tactics in between games, but to explain to the audience that's here, these are the way it works is that you pick a primary who's the person that knows the tactic. Then you pick secondary actors who are going to help and take on certain tasks within, and tactics have required numbers of participants for certain things. Like an exorcism requires at least 2 people, one person to perform the exorcism, the other person to make sure the thing doesn't get away. And that varies from tactic to tactic. And it will also define what skills need to be used. Those who participate need to have those skills. And it's a teamwork role. So the people who are secondary actors roll first, and then they give bonuses or negatives depending on the results of their actions to the primary actor, who's the one that makes like the full big roll that really decides what happens and what goes down. It's a really cool system. You can come up with a lot of really fun kind of Scooby and the Gang style setups, trapping somebody in a washing machine after they trip down the stairs and hit the roller skate and fly forward, and then some reason somebody just throws a pillowcase over their head, that kind of shit. But more serious, so more like best example, John Carpenter's Vampires. Do you remember how they had the ripcord that pulled them out into the sun?
Oh, yeah.
That would be a tactic. That's setting up a trap that's specifically designed to take care of one thing or perform one action. So think about it in that context. I will be going over those with you guys in between games, because I see we are definitely running out of time for this session 0. But I'm glad we got the important shit taken care of at the top.
Yeah.
And this is just extra character creation at this. Well, not extra character creation. It's required, but you guys understand.
Yeah. The stuff we want to share with the audience.
Yeah.
Give them an idea of what we're all about.
Minutia is not as
Where we're
necessary.
No.
And then the final rounded all out situation is merits. You get 7 dots worth of merits. Merits are things that let you kind of sidestep some rules, give yourself some bonuses in some situations concerning a specific thing. These can be things like area of expertise, which is a 1 dot mental merit. Your character is uncommonly specialized in one area. When you pick one of your specialties, and your specialty goes from +1 to a +2 instead. That's a 1 dot mental merit. You can take it multiple times too, because you can pop it into other things. Let's see here. You can make multiple specialties give you a +2 instead of a +1. There are physical, and these are also mental merits, physical merits, social merits. Then there's also, let's see here. The hell is there's a 4th category.
Fighting.
I'm looking for what it's titled specifically. But supernatural merits aren't really going to be used in Hunter unless you're getting to the
fighting merits. Is that what you're thinking?
There's also style merits, which is like a fighting
Wow.
style that you can build up that gives you maneuvers
Nice.
as you level.
Shiv. Oh my god.
We will go over those more in depth before the next before we begin session 1. Obviously, we're probably not going to be doing that live because there's a lot to go through for merits.
Yeah.
But just to be thorough and let everybody know, you're going to be getting 7 dots in merits to spend. Just keep an eye on prerequisites and you will be golden. And then after you do merits, it's secondary stats, finding out your willpower, setting your base integrity, speed, all derived stats that come from things you've already done, which really don't have to cover as part of character creation. And as I said, character creation in this game is more about creating the character itself, and then you find out where the stats fall, rather than the old way of let's roll your stats randomly and find out if you are better off being a farmer and not adventuring.
Yeah.
All right. Before I say we wrap it up, is there any specific questions from my players that they might want answered?
Nope, I'm good.
Feeling
Not the
pretty good.
I like the confidence. I like the confidence.
Okay.
I didn't say it was confident. Just that I don't have questions. There is a difference.
Oh, well, we'll see how that pans out for them next time.
Bold play, Cotton. Let's see if it works out.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to go around the horn one more time. Tell everybody who you are, where they can find you, and feel free to mention something that you have coming up for you that you wish to promote. So we'll start. I'll go down the line according to the screen now. We'll start with TK.
It's me. It's TK. All right, spooky stories. You can read them on the internet. Actually, just rewind this VOD when you're done for finding out everything that I'm doing. But Tales from the Mists is coming back next Friday on the Dungeons & Dragons Twitch channel. That's right, on Valentine's Day.
Ooh.
So exciting. Hang out in Ravenloft with me and my 4 closest friends and 2 randos. It'll be great. They're going to fight a dragon. Don't tell them I said that.
I mean, it's kind of in the title.
Is it?
It'll be delightful.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Jeremy.
Yeah, it's me again. I'm Jeremy. You'll probably see me around these parts again.
Everybody keep an eye out. He's elusive. Jackie. Jackie.
Yep.
I'm sorry,
Hi,
you're not
everybody.
on social media. How am I supposed to handle that?
I'm a strange ghost person.
That's pretty fair. Hi everybody, I'm Jackie Bear, known as Death by Mage, and you can find me on Twitter at Death by Mage. And I got the Unbreakable D&D anthology. It's an all Asian inspired adventure anthology written by Asian creators and illustrated with Asian artists. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be coming out around sometime in February or March.
Very cool. Everybody check out Forged in Battle too. If you're looking for entertaining PDF entertaining third-party take on fighters and like battle maneuvers that apply to more than just one subclass. It's cool. Sorry, I just recently read it and I'm trying to find ways to incorporate it into my game. It's good stuff. Fox.
Hey, folks, I remain Fox Barrett at Fox_Barrett on the Twitter, where you can find me, honestly, mostly lamenting our political process right now, and occasionally complaining about being trans. As ever, you can find me with the Welcome to the Party crew over at twitch.tv/welcomepartyrpg. If I was going to shout out one particular stream right now, it would be Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Riffs, Blood, Dirt, and Chrome is a really cool game I am a part of. It's a Riffs game. Nobody plays Riffs.
Yeah,
Come watch Riffs.
because a lot of charts.
Is it the original rules of Rifts?
It is Megaversal
Yeah.
Rifts.
Oh, jeez.
We very carefully carved around a lot of the problematic stuff and then excised half the rules. But it's Megaversal. Come check it out. It's 8 o'clock Tuesdays Eastern Time. Twitch.tv/WelcomePartyRPG.
Very cool. And I have been the Conry. You can find me on Twitter at the Conry, where I occasionally poke my head out and also bemoan our existence on this planet, but also talk fun gaming stuff. So if I were to shout anything out, I am the editor-in-chief and co-founder of Devil's Luck Gaming. We run high production, well, we like to think we run high production costumed role play experiences. Something that we think is a little different compared to other things out there. We're very proud of what we do. Our big game usually is on Saturdays. That's at 8 p.m. Eastern. We're just wrapping up the end of this week being the last episode of the special arc of Pirates of Bloodwater. We run a Scarred Lands campaign. It's actually our longest running show on the channel that we are not done with. We are still bringing it back because for Saturdays, we are swapping to the next arc in our Chronicles setting. That is Fractured Chronicles. This game being Fractured Territories, a Werewolf the Forsaken game, which does not get enough love. Also, we're going to be here on Wednesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern time, running this Hometown Heroes game. So make sure you're here next week and for the next 4 weeks after this to enjoy some fun hunter action. I'm going to have fun running a fine game for these players. I love this game so much. It's probably my second most run game out of all Chronicles of Darkness. It goes Vampire and then Hunter. So I'm excited. I hope everybody else is excited. Thank you guys for coming along and being here for this game. I hope you're as excited as I am. And I think that's going to be it for us. Unless anybody else has any final thoughts or anything. All right. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next time. Is there anything coming on after us? I hope not, because we're eating into their time.
No idea. Let's wrap this up.
Okay. So
Bye.
that was it.
Bye.
We'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.
We should be good now.